Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Bresh Crew podcast spin-off known as the Full Court Bresh. Big ups to my co-host Marc for coming up with the name. We're going to be giving you weekly updates on sports and what's happening. Marc, say what's up to the people.
What's happening, y'all? How's everybody feeling?
I am your host, Dylon, along with my host.
I'm good, too. Thanks for asking.
I don't give a fuck how you are. Along with my host, Marc Eddie Guerrero Gwynn. We're here.
Senior.
We're talking sports. Senior, he really likes the senior. He's a big J.R. Smith fan.
Okay.
So we're starting things off with the NBA playoffs. And let me just start by saying, holy shit, Jamal Murray is kung fu hustling these Mormons right out of the goddamn playoffs.
There we go.
I fucking love it. This is a biblical performance we're witnessing right now.
Okay.
Biblical.
So when I did my predictions, link to the video down below. When I did my predictions, I said the Nuggets would win it in 7. I didn't think they would have to recover from a 3-1 lead. And by the time we're recording this today, they play after we're recording, so this will probably be dealt with by the time you see it. But I felt like it'd be a back and forth. And it's basically a really good defense and a sort of underwhelming offense against a really good offense and a sort of underwhelming defense.
Who are you saying has the underwhelming defense? Utah or Denver?
Denver.
Yeah.
Denver's got
their defense
the better
needs
offense.
work. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
What I didn't expect was with Utah is, they have some guys that should be able to get stops and be like, you know who the weapons are on offense, so you know you're going to put Gobert on Jokic, and, he's going to get his anyway. But with Donovan Mitchell, you have to put either Royce O'Neal or maybe even
Gary?
a bit of... Well, no. Gary Harris just came back.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So... now you've got him to deal with Donovan Mitchell. But on the Jazz side, you either throw Joe Ingles or... Joe Ingles is forced to play power forward a little bit. But in certain possessions or certain switches off screens or whatever, you have that option. But I didn't see anywhere near enough of the Nuggets... the Jazz throwing the right guys at Mitchell. It should have been Royce O'Neal basically the whole game.
You mean Murray?
Oh, Murray. Fuck, I'm
this
all
is
the way
why
fucking up.
Murray is fucking unguardable. He's averaging 40-7. Who you got over there? Donovan Mitchell? I'm fucking him up.
Or
Who's
Mike
that?
Conley.
Who's
Mike
that?
Conley's better against the little water bug point guards. But,
you got Mike Conley? That's all right. I'm fucking him up. Who's protecting your rim? Multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert? I'm fucking him up. He just keeps fucking everybody. You can't put anyone in front of him right now.
This is why I don't love... this is part of the reason I don't love Rudy Gobert being picked as Defensive Player of the Year so many fucking times. I just feel like he's a super overrated defender. His rim protection is great, and he's a good rebounder and a really good shot blocker. That's all well and good. But he can't rotate on to anybody else. He has to stick to big. He doesn't have anywhere near enough perimeter quickness to even
his quickness is
cover a perimeter player for even one possession. And I'm not asking him to go and check Murray for half the fucking game or whatever. He's got to deal with Jokic. And he's got to deal with Jokic's inside and outside game. Because he's a shooter, too.
Speaking of, Jokic is a top 20 player. And Murray's just outshining everyone to the point where it just looks like his team now.
Well, except Donovan Mitchell.
No, I know.
Mitchell looks like fucking 06 Wade. He just doesn't have enough help around him.
On the other end, Mitchell's fucking playing phenomenal. It's a great... That's why I love this series so much. It's such a good fucking battle. Such a battle. And Murray's just on another planet, man. Like, he's averaging 40. He's averaging 50. Like, this is fucking insane. And having said that, this isn't the greatest thing I've seen him do. And I know you think I'm going to bring up the OnlyFans Instagram issue thing. That's not it, because I didn't see that. It might be in my top 3.
It
might be in my top 3. I didn't see that video. I didn't see that video, but I got an inside source who says
what happened.
She was getting after it. I heard she was getting after it. No, but
shout out to that anonymous source.
I used to work at a place called Athlete Institute. I've said it on the other podcast multiple times, but it's kind of a hotbed for Canadian talent. Marc's played basketball there with me too.
Yes, sir.
And it's kind of birthed like the Jamal Murray, Thon Maker, Ignis Berdikis, O'Shea Brissett, Lou Gantz Dort. List goes on and on and on. And one day after practice, I was getting shots up, and Jamal walks in, and he's waiting for the bus or whatever, and he's making fun of my shot. He's like, God damn it, that form is fucking broke. And I was like, I was cocky. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. And he's like, all right, bet, roll me the ball. So I roll him this ball. He's sitting in the corner of the gym, like sitting, legs spread eagle, backpack on. I roll him the ball. He's about 40 feet behind, diagonal to the basket. So he's behind the net. Looks at the net, over the backboard, cush, makes eye contact with me, walks out. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen anyone do in my life. And this is the close second. This fucking performance he's putting on is a close second, and I can't wait for Game 7 tonight.
I don't think anybody at this point is questioning the testicular fortitude of Jamal Murray. The only thing is him going into this series is that he's had these in and out moments, right? Like he's a streaky scorer.
But
we know
young.
how high his ceiling is. We know how high his fucking ceiling is, and we know that he's a killer. He's a guy that even in his in and out moments going into this series, he seems better in playoff situations than in regular season.
He makes love to pressure. He does. He fucking loves it. He thrives on it. And I'm not surprised by this. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not surprised. I said when he got drafted he'd be an all-star. I never thought he potentially could be a superstar, but I knew at the very least he could be an all-star because I know the work he used to put in at midnight before school, and it's just showing. Like he's not there by chance. Like this kid works fucking hard, and it's showing.
Back to my point about Donovan Mitchell. You have your Conley, your Royce O'Neal, and your Joe Ingles. That three combination are all guys that can take turns guarding Jamal Murray and should have some success. I mean, he's going to get his, but he shouldn't be getting it at this level with such a good defensive coach in Quinn Snyder and those weapons. You should have enough to be able to throw some combination of that at him without having to wear out Donovan Mitchell on the other end. I mean, this is a debate I have with guys all the time. How many times have Brandon and I gone back and forth about how we feel about James Harden and how a guy like that, well, you can't expect him to play,
both sides
defense on the yeah. I mean, you should be able to if he's a superstar. But this
a superstar,
regardless, that's a story for another day. But my point is, you have enough defensive specialists that you should be able to throw at Murray, and the other guys aren't enough to throw. I get Michael Porter Jr., has been shooting a little bit. He had one really good game, and everybody doesn't know how to act. But he's third or fourth best option on that team. You can live with what he does. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are the guys that you have to really key in on. And with Jokic, it's throw Gobert on him, keep him on him the whole time, match his minutes, do what you can do.
I think Utah's actually doing a good job on Jokic. I really do.
It's not bad. Yeah,
it's not. He's not doing what he normally does. Like they're doing something right on him.
But this is exactly my point. Is that you throw Gobert on Jokic and you live with what he gets. That's the matchup. You don't need to throw a combination of guys at him because that's the one guy that you're hoping to have some success with. Yeah. Aside from the outside shooting, because Gobert does not cover perimeter players well. Beside the point. With Murray, that's the other guy you got to lock in on. I do not, for the life of me, understand where I get that you don't want Donovan Mitchell on Jamal as much as it sounds like a sexy matchup on paper. Fourth quarter in a close game, you could just have Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell checking each other. They're probably going to cook each other on both ends, and it is what it is. I think Donovan Mitchell's a good enough defender that he can stay in front of him, but Jamal's going to get those buckets no matter what. Like in those late games.
They both can. That's the thing. Yeah. They both can. Yeah, you said it perfectly. They can trade buckets all day with each other.
Right.
That's the problem.
Especially in games 5 and 6. I don't think it mattered who was in front of Jamal. He was. Those were going in. But my point is, it shouldn't. I don't understand. You had Jordan Clarkson checking Jamal Murray late in the fourth quarter, damn near every possession. There were screens coming that they didn't switch on. And Clarkson's sorry ass stayed on him.
I don't know what it is. Their defense they're like, if they play him too tight, which they aren't, they're giving him space for some reason. But if they do come up on him, he's beating them and then either trying to finish around the rim or kicking it to an open three. And then if they sag off him, he's just hitting every shot in their face. So Utah doesn't know what to do. They have no idea what to do on defense to stop him.
Yeah, but it's like it's not even necessarily an issue of like if they sag off, they go under on screens or whatever. He's got space to shoot. He's chucking that shit up. Yeah. But that hasn't even been the issue. It's that they're not switching on the screens. He's staying with them. He's doing enough to fight over the screens, which is surprising enough as it is. But then he's going to get cooked on the next move anyway. Cause it's just not enough effort coming from a guy like Clarkson because he's an offensive guy.
He doesn't care about D.
Why Quinn Snyder had him
I don't know.
checking Jamal the whole game is beyond me. I mean, either put Donovan on him and deal with what he gets, or Royce O'Neal or Joe Ingles and live with whatever everybody else does. At that point, you have to take the ball out of Jamal's hands. Period.
It's weird because I saw Jamal guard Donovan way more than Donovan stepped up and guarded him. So I think you gotta Utah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Donovan's gonna be more tired, but I think he's better. He's better than fucking Clarkson. Like Clarkson's a fucking pylon.
He was like literally the worst possible option
on that team. And I think Ingles is. I know he's got size on Jamal, but he's too slow. He's still too slow. He's a good perimeter defender for shooters, but if the guy's got the ball in his hand, he can create his own shots like Jamal can. I think Ingles gets cooked over 50% of the time on those. And that's a problem.
Probably yes, but I would still rather have him and his length and his and his basketball, his defensive IQ. Yeah. Because while he's not athletic and doesn't have the lateral quickness to probably stay with him, he's at least gonna know how to play the angles and how to get over and under the screens and still keep Jamal from. Yeah. Unless Jamal just perfectly curls every screen or is able to create the space anyway, you live with that. At least you had a good defender put the effort in on him. I don't fucking get it. And then on the other side, with the matchups against Donovan Mitchell, you had Jamal guard him a few times and Donovan got his because that's not a great matchup. Jamal's not a great defensive player yet. But they had some guys. You have Torrey Craig that you're able to throw on him. He's a defense specialist.
He's amazing on defense.
I mean, anytime Michael Porter was guarding anybody, he got cooked, and they corrected that. You have Paul Millsap, who, while he's not gonna guard Mitchell in ISO situations.
Hell no.
Just him having Paul Millsap on that weak side whenever it's an ISO or if it's a 4-out or whatever it is. Or a screenplay.
He's a good guy to step up for that, yeah.
Yeah, because he can at least check somebody on one position and contest a shot whether he makes it or not. So they have the tools and they use them. Now you got Gary Harris back. Gary Harris now, assuming he's healthy and has the stamina to play, assuming he's in some kind of decent shape, can check Mitchell most of the game between him and Craig.
Both teams have to step up their defense. Like, if we're talking, I think both teams got to really step up their defense in some way. Their offense, I think, is great for both teams. A little better for Denver, but I think Utah has to find someone to check Jamal, and I think Denver has to find someone to check Donovan. I think that's going to who's win the game tonight. I think that's going to see who goes to the next round. Who can stop one of them?
I mean, I guess.
If you're going to win, if you're Utah and you lose to fucking Michael Porter Jr. playing out of his mind again, so be it. But you can't let Jamal get 50 again.
And you can't. You're not. If you're Denver, you're not banking on that to happen in Game 7 of this playoff series the way it's going. It's 2/10 of an atmosphere. It's gonna feel like a fucking conference finals matchup tonight. This
is gonna be the best game of the playoffs so far, for sure.
So my point is, it's gonna be a lot of the same. Jamal and Donovan Mitchell are both gonna get their points. On the Jazz side, Snyder has to change the matchups. He's got to change the adjustments, whatever I don't know if he's going to run some hybrid zone or whatever. I don't think that beats
box at one
Jamal's scoring ability.
Yeah.
You could kind of do some semblance of that, but, I mean, that's not really in Mike Malone's playbook.
Or do you think we're going to see more doubles?
I think we're going to see more touches for Jokic throughout the game. And I think he's going to go back to being the point giant that he is.
That's another.
And then you can just reserve Jamal for the fourth, because at this point
his thing. You can
rely on the sense of assurity. Yeah, you've got the sense of assurity that when it's in his hands in the fourth, he's a problem.
That's some shit too. Like if they do shut down Jamal, they still got Jokic for offense. But Utah, if you shut down Donovan, I don't know who the fuck's gonna step up and score 30 on Utah. when
they don't have
Donovan's.
anybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. They don't have
Conley's
anyone.
not giving you that anymore. Gobert has no fucking offensive skill whatsoever. He finishes off a good pass. Ingles is giving you 17 to 20 at best. And
after Game 6, there's some how can I say that word? Animosity between Gobert and Connolly now because they keep fucking losing. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
here's a wild card for you. The kid Jalen Morgan, who's been starting a few games for the Jazz, which kind of came as a bit of a curveball to begin with, but he's played somewhat well. What if he just has like a Kelly Olynyk against the Wizards?
Yeah.
One of those type of games.
He could.
I mean, I don't think Utah needs to bank on that per se. I think they can pretty much keep their game plan. They just need to make the adjustments defensively. But if you have some weirdo performance like that, or even on the Jazz side, maybe Torrey Craig finds a jumper. You know what I mean? Like, could it end up being one of those weird situations, and that's how Game 7? I'll be a little disappointed if that's how it goes, because I want to see the same thing I've seen all series. That's what's made it so great. I just want to see Utah adjust that defense and change the fucking matchup so that at least, I mean, you still have to worry about Jokic, but at least Murray's in check.
What are your predictions for tonight?
I think Denver's gonna get it done.
Come back from a 3-1?
Yep.
Jeez.
I saw how frustrated Mitchell was after last game.
He can't do anything else.
You can't blame the fucking guy.
He can't do anything. That's why he's frustrated. He can't do anything more than he's doing. He needs some help.
They don't have the tools for it. They don't have another guy.
Yeah.
What's Jordan Clarkson gonna put 40 on somebody's fucking head? Like, he's supposed to be a go-to scorer. He's supposed to be coming off the bench, but they got him playing 30 minutes of fucking game and checking Jamal Murray late in the fourth. Like, it's a disaster.
Where's Bogdanovich been?
He's injured.
Yeah.
That's
the guy. That's the guy.
Would have been. Yeah.
He can score. He can score pretty well.
I mean, if he was around,
if
he was around and playing like he was playing to begin the series, this thing might have been over in 6.
You might be right. You can't leave him open because he's gonna hit. He makes good plays. He's got a high IQ offensively. He's
clutch.
He's a really good player. Yeah,
he's a killer. He's a better defender than he gets credit for too.
Yep. Him and Joe Ingles are very similar to me, so it was weird to see them both end up on not only the same team, but the same starting lineup. That was weird to me because I feel like I'd say Bogdanovich is slightly better offensively, but they're both very similar players to me.
Bogdanovich is a better shooter and scorer, whereas Ingles is a slightly better passer and probably a better overall defender.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why he got shifted to power forward, and everybody's playing fucking small ball nowadays. More on that later, but
more on that later.
You can kind of get away with it now, and because they have a rim protector like Gobert, even with his lack of lateral quickness and ability to actually rotate, he's a good enough rim protector that you can kind of live on that insurance policy, and it's worked for them.
So you're saying Denver tonight?
Yeah, Denver's going to get done. It'll be a close one. It'll be a dogfight. Mitchell and Murray will still get theirs, but I think we're going to see basically a repeat of Game 6.
Overtime, Denver wins. That's what I'm going to go with.
Overtime. I think Jokic, we're going to see.
I need Jokic to step up a little more.
We're going to see. I don't think he's been that bad.
He's
just been matched up really well. I think we're going to see jokes, man. We're going to see.
I fucking hope so. It's going to be a fucking hell of a ball game. So, speaking of small ball, CP3 taking on the Rockets, forcing Game 7.
I fucking hate this Rockets team. It's almost a Cleveland level hatred for me.
It's not. It's pretty bad. I get it. This might be the last year of them. We'll see.
And there's at least 2 guys on that team that I really. Wow, there's 3, but there's 2 on this team that I really, really like. I love PJ Tucker. And I really like Robert Covington. Yep. And I still have an irrational affection for Jeff Green. Although every bit of that has been kind of dispelled at this point. But every time I go, I'm fucking over this guy. Yeah. Then he has a good game again. And it's like, okay, maybe he could be an important role player. I don't want to see any more bad basketball, man. I just want this fucking
Here's the thing.
shit to end.
Even though OKC won last night, I actually think the Rockets are playing pretty goddamn good defense for once.
I was gonna say that.
They're playing good defense.
It takes something out of me, but yeah,
They're playing good D.
I don't want to jump off a cliff because I feel like there's two sides to this. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I can't stand this fucking team, but they have played a lot better defensively. They're rotating better. They're actually matching up a little bit. You know how I feel about James Harden, but he has been definitely better than before. Although I don't think that's saying that much. The only thing that pisses me off is, I mean, as you know, I pay a lot of close attention to the play-by-play and the color commentary and things like that for obvious reasons. But
yeah,
the one thing I've noticed is that I saw throughout this entire series, but in last night's game, I saw probably 2 or 3 really solid defensive plays by Harden. And aside from that, it's just his usual self, just hiding off ball, whatever else. And it's like, this is one of the things with when that happened, when those 3 plays happened, the way the announcers jumped out the fucking window as if he's become a defensive player of the year candidate. Yeah. And I get you got to sell it a little bit, and I get that it's exciting. It's like, oh, holy shit. I see myself watching the game. It's like, oh, okay, he's actually putting in some effort, and that's good. This is what I've been asking for. Yeah. But, I mean, I'm just not. I don't see that much nutritional value in it. I don't. And I don't think it's going to last. I haven't seen enough of it even in this first round against an Oklahoma City team that's, you know, I don't want to say overachieving, but has definitely surprised some people with how good they've been. And, you know, what the fuck? What, you think they're just going to clamp the Lakers if they move on? Like,
that'd be a fucking weird matchup, but
it'll be a weird matchup because they don't have anybody to guard LeBron or Anthony Davis. But I still think Oklahoma City's winning this shit. I think Houston blew their chance to win it, and just old habits die hard. Their coaching is still terrible.
I think this is going to be D'Antoni's last year there, regardless.
I hope not. I hope he stays there. Sign him for another 10 years.
I think it
Fuck
is.
them.
I think regardless, it's going to be his last year there. I agree that James is playing better D, but it's still, just because you get a steal or 2 a game, I get that you switch possessions every time you get a steal, and it's good for the ball game, but still doesn't mean your one-on-one defense is great every play down the floor, like Robert Covington's is and PJ Tucker's is.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting credit for kind of what they do also, instead of them getting full credit. But I will say Rockets defense was really good, even though they lost. Russell Westbrook, however, first game back, sucked dicks and got 6 turnovers, few air balls. Really, his court awareness seemed fucking all over the place.
No. You're talking about last night.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook.
That was the second game back. His second game, last night he was dog shit. First game back, he actually looked all right.
Second game back, sorry. Yeah, he was dog shit. Probably the reason they lost.
I noticed a lot of things. With Russell. The way he moved, you could see how much athleticism he was missing. It's a sign of things to come. When he's 33, 34 and starting to take that deep, this is what he's going to look like. Yeah. Like, this is one of those guys, he's that super athletic finishing point guard. I mean, he's still a playmaker. And any bit of on or off ball defense is damn near out the window at this point. Yeah. Because he just can't move that well. But I think we saw a lot of, even like, it looked like he was missing like 10 inches of fucking vertical on his layups and shit.
He was, yeah.
Like, he wasn't even getting above the rim.
Yeah, because he's a guy who traditionally jumps, I think, stupidly high on the jump shot. Yeah. And he was not shooting his normal self. His legs were not under him. It was fucking him up. And unless, I think you're right, if he doesn't adapt like the ever so explosive Vince Carter adapted to the game with his age, then he's going to be out pretty quick.
Problem is, it's 2 different play styles, man. Like, Russ depends so much more on his athleticism for the finishing, and even like every single way he moves. He's never been much of a shooter. Vince Carter was a guy that could knock down a 3, and I mean, even had a deadly mid range, could hit a fadeaway, whatever. And that's how he adjusted. And actually, oddly, became a more efficient defender as he got older.
Mm-hmm.
He was never a terrible defender, but was
Smarter.
never a guy you looked at to lock anybody down. But yeah, he kind of it was like Joe Ingles in that he's kind of figured out how to play the angles and play passing lanes and stuff like that, and would actually, you know, it wasn't a liability. He never was a liability, but he was never a real great defender either. You know, we knew what we were getting with Vince Carter. It was going to be highlight dunks and big shots and whatever else. With Russ, he's just not healthy, man. He came back too early. And you can't blame him. I mean, it's a crucial situation of trying to clinch a playoff series, and you're going to want to play, but he's not healthy. And I think we're going to see more of that tonight. Ironic that
they're not playing tonight, are they? Tomorrow?
No, tomorrow. Okay. My bad.
It's all good.
But it's ironic that Houston felt like they couldn't win with a injury-prone, washed-up point guard on the wrong side of his 30s, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing what's happening on the other side.
Speaking of
great.
that, and Chris Paul's loving that.
Who's not loving what's happening with Chris Paul right now?
What
it's so fucking dope.
I love Chris Paul. But this is my thing with Chris. I saw them.
He is a dick puncher. I
don't care about
Let's just get that out the way. Everything else about him I love. But he is a dick puncher.
With 6 minutes left last night, they were up by 2 or 3. They pulled Chris Paul out of the game, and I saw Houston do this his last year in Houston. In a Game 7 situation, they pulled him out with 4 minutes left, and it's the reason they lost the fucking series because he was balling the fuck out. He had damn near 40 that game, and with 4 minutes left, you pull him out. Houston loses the series. He gets traded or leaves, whatever happened. Yep. Now, same thing. 6 minutes left last night. Do or die. They pull him out with 6 minutes left. And I'm like, this is it. Same shit all over again. Different coach, but same situation. So either, if you're at Chris Paul's level, you can say, fuck off, I'm staying in. Or his conditioning isn't up to par to the point where he's like, I need to break. And that could be like a game time decision. That could be the reason you win or lose the game. Because the second he went off, Houston took a 5-point lead. The second. The fucking Thunder did not know what to do on offense without him. They frantic. They get charges. They're all over the fucking place. They need him on the floor, especially in the fourth quarter. And I don't like how he sat. So I hope that doesn't happen again tomorrow.
I think what happened with that is obviously Chris Paul's the number one option. Obviously he's the late fourth quarter guy who's probably just trying to do a Popovich thing and leave him until the last minute. But
there was fucking 5 minutes left. You can't. That's not Popovich.
5 minutes? I mean, if I feel I'm comfortable with the guys that are filling the floor, I could leave them out until it's like 3 minutes, something like that. Give them like a minute and a half, just a quick blow pause. But, you know, just to give them a little bit of a refresh and then go back in and kill it for the last few. But I think Billy Donovan just felt comfortable with Shea and Dennis Schroeder because Dennis Schroeder was really taking on a leadership role with this team.
6th man of the year.
Especially leading that second unit, but playing in sort of a small ball death lineup with the starters as well. You can have Paul, Schroeder, and Shea on the floor at the same time, and it's not a liability.
No, because their defense makes up for it. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Dennis had a lot of open shots, like open threes, because they're almost leaving him open. He's got to be able to knock those down. He's got to hit those.
He does, and I think he will. He's one of those on and off guys as well, but he's gonna give you enough that you don't feel like you're wasting time with him on the floor, even on his back.
No, because he's amazing at defense. He knows how to pass the ball really well. He plays the ball the right way. But I'm just saying, if you want to win in the playoffs, you got to be able to hit those shots.
The thing I love the most, the thing I've really enjoyed the most about Schroeder, especially last night, there was possessions where you'll hear after basket cuts where you'll hear a little bit of the whatever the mic picks up that doesn't get censored out or whatever. Yeah. You could hear Schroeder screaming at Chris Paul when he didn't rotate properly on a check, or at Shea, or at any of those guys. You could hear him barking at everybody, and they're responding to it. And then you see them. It's the little exchanges when the momentum shifts and things like that. He was the first guy I could hear. I mean, Chris Paul is Chris Paul. He's barking at everybody. He's managing everything at once. But
he's a second coach, yeah.
But Schroeder was doing a lot of those things where I could hear him screaming at people under the basket on both sides where, if somebody committed a bad foul or gave up a basket or whatever here, or there was a bad Shea pass.
I remember
Steven
that.
Adams was trying to kick it out or whatever and lost the ball. And should have got on both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you threw a bad pass, but you should have been here instead of where you were. Like, you could see him kind of managing everything, and I think that's been big. They got a well-oiled machine in Oklahoma City, man.
But they do. Underdogs for sure, but
they're getting it done in Game 7 too.
Lugance Dort is a guy whose size and athleticism I think is really. I think it's given James Harden some problems.
Oh, for sure.
I think he is not used to that size and athleticism at the same time. But and I know he's young, but he's definitely giving James a little bit of a problem.
This is kind of the great thing is like it's that over sensationalized play-by-play stuff again, but nobody. I feel like you and I are two of the only people that knew what Lou Dort had to offer before he really started getting major minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny to hear like the play-by-play and the color commentators and all that talk about Lou as people don't realize how great of a defender he is. Look at the way he rotates and the big body, playing it up. And of course you're gonna do that a bit again, but it's just kind of funny. I'm sitting there like, you guys really had no idea.
They had no idea.
I'm not even sure they know now, but he's a freak.
Him in high school was a man among boys. This guy was just built different. He works hard. I remember I was editing a dunk competition video for like the best kids in Canada, and he was the one who won it. And right then I was like, this kid's athleticism is fucked. Like it's fucked.
That if
he can play D
like
and shoot, he just keeps getting bigger. And it's not slowing him down at all. He's a fucking beast.
There's certain guys that just have
Good
that.
genes.
There's certain guys that can be big, and everybody gushes about Zion, and I get that. With Lou, he's like a power running back. You know what I mean? Like all that bulk and shit doesn't take away from his speed, or like a quick linebacker or whatever. And probably could have been a good football player now that I think about it, but he's got it. It's not just the size and the strength, but it's the IQ as well. Like he's a smart defender. So even if he wasn't that big, he would probably still do a solid job.
And he's in
at least like a Trevor Ariza level, you know what I mean?
And he's in a great position with him and Shea played together lots growing up.
Yep.
Here in Canada, and then you got Chris Paul and Schroeder showing you the ropes. Like that's a good fucking situation to be in. And speaking of freaks, let's talk about everyone's top 5 player, Giannis Antetokounmpo, getting dick slapped by Jimmy Butler.
Grown ass man Jimmy Butler. That coffee must be that coffee shop must be doing something else for him, man.
Wait, what coffee shop? What happened?
Well, he's got his own.
Oh yeah.
Coffee's been hard to come by in the bubble, so he just started running his own coffee shop. He's charging everybody like $20 a cup.
That's fucking great.
Jimmy's another guy. I remember I brought this up in the interview with Kyle. We were talking about Jamal, and I was saying that he knows how to be an asshole in a good way. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy is the fucking dictionary definition of that.
He's like that. Every time I think of Jimmy Butler, I think of that. I just think of him saying like "fuck everyone." I'm going off. I'm about to go off. Like that Austin Rivers fucking mixtape video. He's like, I'm going off. Like get the fuck out of the way. And man, yeah, Giannis. Oh, I know he was I don't know if he ended up with a triple double or he's really close, but he's not. Him in the playoffs is just not the same guy as in the season. Yeah, I know he's young. He's 24, 25, whatever, but he's just not the same guy.
It's not so much a him problem. I mean, it is. It's things that he's got to fix, but it's more so the way the defenses adjust to him. Going back to the point about keying in on star players like Jokic and Murray, you do the same thing with Giannis, where we know what his glaring weaknesses are. You keep him out of the fucking paint, and you're able to play passing lanes well enough to pick up his passes.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna worry about? They don't have enough lethal shooters to just live off drive and kick.
I think they have good shooters in Milwaukee. I really do. I think if you put I don't even like LeBron that much. I'm a Laker fan, but I don't like LeBron. But if you put LeBron on that team, it's a cakewalk in the East. Cakewalk.
LeBron's a better shooter than Giannis and a better passer.
I know, but it's still like everyone has Giannis in their top 5. And it's just like
he is the top 5 player. He is the top 5 player.
I know in the season. But in the playoffs, is he? Has he really proven that?
I still think he produces. It's just the game changes in the playoffs. The game slows down, and you're not gonna have as many fast break opportunities unless you have the best defense in the fucking league, and you're not gonna have as many outside guys are putting more effort into closing out shooters. Guys are putting more bodies into defenders and offensive players. You're gonna get bumped a little hard on your way to the hoop.
Yeah.
The game gets tougher, and that's come at the expense of Giannis's game. The only thing is, I don't feel like the Bucks have enough outside shooting to beat it because they haven't proven it yet. Brook Lopez was a really reliable 3-point shooter last year and has been on and off. Bledsoe is Bledsoe. As much as I love the guy, he's an average 3-point shooter. Middleton's a great shooter, but I don't know if he's going to be able to create well enough off the dribble. I don't know if his handle's good enough against this Miami defense. Like, this Miami team has a really good physical defense.
And they don't have... Milwaukee doesn't have any fucking dogs. No one wants it that bad. Like, Jimmy's a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Like, and let's not undersell Goran Dragic's performance. He played fucking unbelievable, too. But it's playoffs, man. Like, no one wants it on Milwaukee, it seems like. Everyone knows how much Giannis loves the game and how hard he works, but it's not... He's missing that fucking next year, I think, right now. He hasn't shown me enough.
Yeah, it's a couple things I would change if I'm Milwaukee. Another thing, Bam Adebayo is one of the better guys at guarding Giannis in the league.
That's true.
This is a tough fucking matchup for the Bucks.
Yeah.
They are the better overall team and they should win, but this is a really fucking tough matchup. So this is upset watch. But with guarding Jimmy, Chris Middleton is... I know you think he's fucking unreal.
He's unreal.
But Chris Middleton's a solid defender. He's a really good defender. But one-on-one, if he's checking Butler the whole game, first of all, you depend too much on Chris Middleton shooting among the rest of the team for him to just be checking somebody the whole game. He's probably going to wear out. He's not that rugged of a guy. But you can definitely throw him on Jimmy Butler for probably half the possessions, and he's going to do his job. He's going to do well enough. Bledsoe is the guy that's the rough, really scrappy defender. I mean, he's first team all defense capable defensive player. And I know he's a smaller guy, but he's a smaller guy by NBA standards, or looks like it when he's around a bunch of 7-footers on the screen. But this dude's like 6'1", 6'2", probably, I don't know, 210, 220, something like that.
Yeah.
He's a brick shithouse. I'd have him stick Butler.
For sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. For sure.
But I haven't seen enough of that. I know, Jimmy can shoot over him or whatever, but I think you can live with that. Yeah. He's going to give you a couple mid-range looks. Bledsoe, he's a similar guy to Kyle Lowry in that maybe he's not going to lock down the water bug point guards. And we'll get more to that I'll get more on that with the Lowry Walker matchup.
Yeah.
With Bledsoe, they're still going to do a good job. I think Bledsoe's a better defender against bigger guys.
I think so too. But
I think you do a really good job on Butler. And you don't need as much from Bledsoe offensively as long as he's able to create plays, do enough in the half-court game, knock down the shots when he is open, which I still trust him to do. But he's not your first option on offense, and he's not your first shooter either. So I would have him stick Jimmy and just live with whatever shots he makes over him.
And speaking of that, like, Jimmy made arguably the most shots he's ever made in a game in game one. Like, he usually doesn't shoot that well. He usually gets a lot of his points at the line or in the paint, but he hit a lot of mid-range and three-pointers that he doesn't hit that consistently. He always hits big shots, but he never hits them that consistently all game long. So if you do put a pest on him, that might hinder his performance for sure. Yeah, man. And he'd be more inclined to go in. Yeah, 40 pieces. And the Heat had chances where they could have just held the ball, and he's just like, nope, I'm hitting it. I want this lead to grow.
There's a couple factors that play to Miami's advantage here. The more we talk about this, the more I feel like it's just a massive advantage for Miami. But I mean, the Bucks are still really fucking good. Let's not get that twisted. But with Jimmy, he's got this. Miami's been shooting so fucking well this series and before that, that
fucking
the
bubble,
spacing is unreal. So Jimmy's just got somebody stuck on an island every time.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's not getting doubled a lot. He's taking advantage of the ISOs, and he's getting a lot.
This is all the more reason to put Bledsoe on him, is because you've got now more length than Chris Middleton and a guy who can play passing lanes well. That Jimmy, if Bledsoe does enough on him, you're going to live with the buckets that he gets, but Bledsoe's going to make it tough on him physically and wear him down. But Miami has such good spacing, you have to play passing lanes better. Everybody's giving Giannis shit for not matching up against Jimmy. Giannis isn't the best matchup for Jimmy. Giannis has to check.
No.
Giannis has to check Bam.
Yeah, Brook Lopez is not going to check Bam if you put Giannis on Butler. No. He's got to check Bam. He's got to keep him off the glass.
If Bam stays on the low block all game for some stupid fucking reason, sure, keep Brook Lopez on. But that's not going to happen. Bam, the first thing he's going to see is a mismatch in Brook Lopez, and like, okay, I can play the perimeter, I can play mid to high post and pick and roll, whatever, and we're just going to cook his ass. But with Giannis, he's the one that's got to check Bam because he can play the inside-outside game with him. And then you have the insurance policy of Brook Lopez to sag off of whoever you think is the least lethal shooter on Miami. But they've had such good shooting that the spacing has just been fucking immaculate. But if you have Bledsoe on Jimmy, he's able to... Him and Giannis and whoever else is on the floor. DiVincenzo is also one of the better off-ball defenders in the league too. If you have that combination of guys, then you can just play tough half-court defense and get transition buckets all day.
Yeah,
and that's what you live on.
Yeah, Middleton isn't the guy. Jimmy Butler took his horse face ass all the way back to the stable he was conceived in. All night, and there was nothing Middleton could fucking do about it.
Jesus Christ.
Not a fucking thing. And Middleton played terrible defense as well and made a lot of turnovers that he shouldn't have. He's not the guy to guard Jimmy. Put him on put Middleton on one of the shooters like Hero or whoever else.
Or put him on Dragic.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, if you put Bledsoe on Jimmy, who goes on Dragic? Middleton? Maybe
Matthews or DiVincenzo, depending on which one of them is on the floor. Either way, I'm comfortable with that. Dragic isn't going to cook you the whole fucking series.
Maybe Matthews. Maybe Matthews.
Yeah. Matthews is an excellent defender. You can even have him switch on to Jimmy for some possessions, so like if Bledsoe's off the floor or whatever.
I think either way, because Jimmy does have games where he's a little quiet, this series is going to go the distance.
Yeah.
I think so. Either way,
I still think the Bucks
6
win
or 7.
Series. I think it'll be 7.
Yeah, we'll see. See what happens in game 2. So what about your beloved Toronto Raptors blowout the other night against Boston?
I'm not
What
shocked.
the fuck happened?
Before I start making excuses,
no, don't even blame Scott Foster for the whole thing.
No, it was Ed Malloy, but it's even worse. I'll get into that. But first off, Boston shot really fucking well. They moved the ball really fucking well, and they defended really fucking well. Boston earned the win. There's no getting around that. And the Kemba versus Kyle Lowry matchup is potentially a big issue for the champs because Kyle is another guy like Bledsoe who is really good at defending bigger guys, but at times could struggle against the little water bug point guards. Kemba's a speedy little
fucking
water
quick
bug
and
point guard can
spastic.
score or whatever. Lowry's more than capable of defending him well, but coming off that ankle, it's clearly not all the way healthy, and having to do that the whole game and then being responsible for all the offense that he's responsible for, it's tough. It's doable, but it's tough. And then they're another team that spaces out really well too, and you saw it in game 1. Jaylen Brown, you can't leave him open anymore. He's at least a reliable shooter. He's going to have some on-off games and shit, but he's still reliable. Similar to a Jimmy Butler, I guess. Just not as much creativity off the handle.
No. Yeah. He can't create his own shot as well.
Tatum has that three-way scoring ability. He has that triple threat to his advantage where because Gordon Hayward's out of the series, the Raptors should be taking full fucking advantage of that because not that Gordon Hayward's giving you 40 a night or whatever, but was another reliable scorer and a pretty decent playmaker as well. But that takes away from Boston's spacing. So the way the Raptors rotated and stuff was really sloppy, and switching on the matchups, picked the wrong time to switch on screens and created mismatches for Boston to take advantage of. That was the story of the game, on top of the 11 fucking fouls called in the Raptors in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have 11 fouls called on you in the first quarter and then just be playing catch up against a team that's shooting really well the rest of the game.
I think
it's a fucking mess.
That hindered the momentum.
But I'm not going to blame all that on Ed Malloy being terrible, because he's, just gotta live with that anyway.
Go, Ed Malloy! That is unbelievable. Brutal!
With the Raptors, it's a couple things that they need to do. First off, they need to figure out. Well, there's nothing to figure out. They know what they need to do. They need to better rotate on the screens and the ball movement. And then I want to see more inside touches for Gasol and Ibaka. I don't understand why there wouldn't be more low block touches and just wear out Daniel Tice, because he's the only one that gives you any kind of rim protection. And even him, it's not reliable enough. It's not a Rudy Gobert situation where he's just going to block everything that comes his way and whatever. You can wear his ass out, especially with Marc Gasol. And then he's got the ability to make plays for the slashers and the outside shooters that Toronto has, because we have enough of that to make these games winnable. Boy, I want to see more of that on top of the defensive rotation.
You got to be able to hit shots.
That too. We did not fucking shoot.
They weren't hitting anything. And I think those calls at the beginning of the game really hindered the momentum of Toronto, and they let it get to them a little bit instead of just saying, fuck these refs. I think they were really bitching a lot, which Toronto always does, especially Lowry.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, of course.
But, yeah, that really fucked the momentum up. And, yeah, it's hard to climb back from that. It was just a bad start to the game. Bad start.
Yeah.
Hard to catch up.
I'd love to. I mean, I can't get over how fucking horrible Ed Malloy is. I'd love to not see him. Well, Scott Foster is bad, but you don't know who he's going to be bad for. So his shittiness might actually work out for us, depending on how he's feeling that day.
Depending on who he's betting on that day.
Depends on the fucking humidity. Yeah. Or whoever he's got the over-under on. With Malloy, he's just so fucking incompetent that no matter who you're cheering for, I don't know. He's just awful. I'd love to never see him referee again, but it'll happen again, and I'll bitch about it again, and
maybe tonight.
Far from the last time it happens. Well, they rotate referees, so it'll be a different staff working this game. Thank fucking Lord. But we'll probably get Scott Foster tonight, and I'll be bitching about him on the next pod. So it'll be great.
You think the Raptors pull out their first win of the series tonight?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why they're going to win the series too. I originally predicted Raptors in 7, and then I saw the video of Fred VanVleet being reunited with his kids, and now I'm thinking Raptors in 5.
I heard that same theory that when dad mode's activated now.
Man, it has yet to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
No, I do think it still goes 7.
But do you think these big wings that they have guarding Van Fleet are gonna affect the way he plays? Because Boston has abnormally tall, lengthy fucking wings in Tatum and Brown, and do you think Van Fleet can still play the same as he would against the shorter guard matchup?
I'll say this: Klay Thompson's a really good defender, right? I'm not wrong in saying that.
Incredible.
I've seen in the NBA Finals, if you remember.
Yeah.
That was about a little over a year ago, just to refresh everybody's memory. I saw Klay Thompson check Fred VanVleet for the vast majority of an NBA Finals series, and Fred played the best basketball of his life.
That's right.
I'm not saying that's significant, but I'm not saying it's not significant. Okay.
Fair.
Just do with that what you will. Do with that what you will.
But he's gonna shoot as well. Yeah, probably.
Fred VanVleet is going to fuck.
He's one of the most reliable playoff guys I've ever seen, and he's not even a star. He's just really fucking good.
You know who he fucking reminds me of? Mike Bibby.
That's tight.
He does, because he's got that. He's got the shooting ability. He's a playmaker, an underrated defender, and clutch.
I'd say he's clutch. I'd say he's a better shooter than Bibby, but a worse passer. But yeah, that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, Bibby's a better playmaker. Fred's a better defender.
Yeah.
And I think Fred's ceiling is higher as far as scoring ability, but really fucking similar. Fred's got this ability that I talk about all the time. Whenever I talk hoop with anybody and like little guys and finishing and whatnot, it's using these little pockets.
Yeah.
These little pockets that either the defense gives you or you create on your own. Like if you've got a big man towering over you, you've got to realize how much space you have underneath the basket and at the side of the backboard. There's this little pocket. If you can fit a ball in there, put it right there.
Yeah, he's
that's a bucket.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Fred's amazing at that.
He can finish around the rim.
And he's just so fucking well composed. Kyle's really good at that too.
Yep.
He knows how to use the caboose, but
man,
it's
hard to do. If you've ever played basketball and you're a smaller dude, it's hard to fucking do that without getting.
And look,
blocked.
the Celtics are really good defensively, and they've obviously, whether they're throwing Jaylen Brown on Fred or whoever they're throwing at him, they have a couple of really solid defenders.
Yeah,
but not enough that. It's weird that you have such a. Jaylen Brown specifically is an excellent perimeter defender. But another guy, I don't feel like, Fred's another one of those little water bug point guards. Not as quick as Kemba, but still crafty and quick enough to, if he beats you with the first step, he's going to find that little pocket and finish.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown's going to struggle with that.
He is.
Him and Kyle, whether he's guarding him. Not immensely. He's not going to get barbecued, but that's going to be one of those little things. And with the options that we have on the outside, with Norm's going to give you a big game here and there. Siakam should fucking theory.
Yeah, he should fuck against almost anyone at this point.
But it depends on who's checking him.
Still, if it's Tatum,
Jason,
Tatum's a great defender. Don't get me wrong, but I think Siakam's first step and his ability to create his own shot around the net is really good. If Siakam settles for jumpers all game, I think that's bad. I think he's got to attack the rim more against Tatum.
I think at this point he knows better than to do that anyway.
Because Tatum's a great perimeter defender. So you got to really take him inside. Take him inside.
He's gotten much better.
I still think Boston is underrated, and I think this is going to.
I'm not mad at that.
I think this is going to go.
I won't argue that.
I think it'll go 7, but the Raptors edge it out because of how fucking good they play together. No matter what, they're such a good fucking.
I will
team.
say this because I don't want my bias to completely tank the situation. Boston winning the series wouldn't surprise me by any means. Or them getting to the NBA Finals for that matter.
Me
wouldn't
neither.
Surprise me. They have.
They should have
to win a title.
They've had the great core for the past few years. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
At all. They could beat the Bucks if they really played well. They could beat the Heat if they really played well, and they could beat potentially the Raptors.
Yeah,
they could.
They'll
get dick slapped by the Lakers. I'll tell you that for free. But
yeah, okay. Yeah, I think Boston's really good. I can confidently say I just feel like Toronto has the better overall team and the better coaching.
I would agree with that. They play together as a unit like no one else in the league. Speaking of, we weren't really speaking about anything. This is a bad segue, but
let's talk about your fucking Lakers.
They won.
Oh, Luka. Yep, Luka.
No, wait. The Lakers are gonna play the winner of who? OKC Rockets or Clippers Dallas? That's what I'm waiting. I'm not sure which one they're gonna play.
No, it won't be Clippers Dallas because Clippers already beat Dallas into the 2 seed. So it'll be the Lakers will play the lowest winning seed. So if the Jazz win, they're the 6th seed, then the Jazz will face the Lakers. If the Nuggets win, then the Lakers will face the winner of
that's so
Houston
weird.
OKC.
That's weird.
It's because they're the 1 seed. The 1 seed plays the lowest winning seed. So it's essentially treating it as if they want to give the 1 seed the easiest path possible.
Huh. Okay.
Because they feel like they've earned it.
Okay. So they can play 4 different teams then, is what you're telling me.
So we got a week
or 3.
No,
Dallas
it would
is already
be
out?
3. Yeah, okay. Dallas is already out.
So Luka is incredible. Just had no help.
Yeah. I wouldn't say no help.
Well,
just not the right help. This is just a bad matchup.
It's still the Clippers.
Yeah, I thought it was going to end in 5. It's just Paul George had those 2 really bad games, and everybody forgot that he was still an amazing player.
That's what I wanted to get to.
And then he came back and said he was Paul George again.
Yeah, everyone jumped
down
his throat.
Oh my God, he's amazing. Yeah.
Everyone dumped down his throat, but every team in the league would fucking beg to have him on their team. So I don't know why everyone jumped out the window on that. And Luka played incredible, so you can't really blame him. Can't blame Paul George for that. And he's coming off 2 shoulder surgeries. What do you expect?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, rotator cuff isn't the easiest thing to
Both of them.
recover from. Yeah.
And he still fucks.
With Dallas, the one thing I'm a little concerned with is Porzingis. I mean, I was never a huge fan. Like, I like him. He's fine.
I like him.
But he's 7'3", and just
injury prone.
He's at this point injury prone. It's the above 7 foot guys that there's just always problems with. And name 5 guys above 7 foot that have been able to have long and prosperous careers. There's this Shaq and Kareem. There's Wilt. But I mean, other than the all-time greats, Dikembe Mutombo, this is the only guy that comes to mind that was above 7 foot that was able to stay out. I know he had his shit here and there, just played for a long time.
Dirk had a great career. And it's because I think it's because they played more like big men. I think these new 7-footers coming in are trying to be fucking guards, and it's really fucking their knees up.
By the way, can we stop with the fucking Porzingis Dirk comparisons? I don't mean in this sense. I'm just like every time he comes up, like when he was drafted or whatever, because he's tall and white
and now he's on
and
Dallas.
Shoots a little bit. He's the next Dirk, and now he's on Dallas. He's the next Dirk. They're not similar at all.
They don't play the same at all. Not even close. Not even close. Just because you're a white, tall guy who can hit threes doesn't mean you're Dirk.
Yeah, they're completely different.
Dirk plays so much slower and more composed.
We're not going to see another Dirk.
No.
That's it.
No. Bargnani wasn't even close to those predictions as well. Dirk's he's too fucking fundamentally sound, man, in what he does. He's incredible. Dirk's
and probably had the most unique jump shot known to man.
Who faded away like that back then?
Nobody's replicating the flamingo jump.
Mike and Kobe, and then Dirk. Those are the 3 greatest fadeaways of all time.
But even them, it was more textbook and straightforward. When Dirk had that weird flamingo release.
So sick. I guess, it's incredible.
Yeah. Luka's gonna be all right. Dallas is in good hands.
They need.
I wonder what they.
In the
I don't know what they go get.
They wanted. I think their GM or their coach said they need dogs. That's all they said. Which I said about the Bucks. They want dogs on Dallas because no one really stood up for themselves against Marquis. If Pat Beverly played more, those guys, they had no answer for that type of toughness that they were up against.
I just wonder, who do you go get? That's the thing. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, this isn't even a good, like a Bradley Beal or something.
This isn't even a good year for free agents either. 2020 is not really looking good.
Unless I don't know who the fuck Anthony Davis, but I don't know.
He's not going there. Let's be honest. Although that'd be a cool 1-2 punch, Luka and him. But I don't know. I don't know who you go get. I don't know. You're going to get some second string. You're going to get a bench player who might be really good, who can fight. Maybe like a Marcus Smart type guy, but I don't know.
I don't see Boston giving him up, though.
They're not going to give him up.
He's too fucking important. He's like their little Draymond Green.
Pat Beverly hasn't come back yet, right?
I think he's expected to be back for the next series. Like, he could have played in Game 6, but they chose to play it safe. And I mean, it's the Clippers.
I like him
going to be low
not
management
playing.
city, but
if he's facing my Lakers, I like him not playing.
Oh, he'll be playing. He'll be playing.
Fuck.
He'll be playing. Even if he's got a fucking broken back, he'll be checking LeBron, and he'll be Pat Beverly's usual self. Y'all are not winning this series.
If the Rockets end up playing the Lakers. Yeah, I know the Rockets beat the Lakers in the bubble. Ooh.
That means nothing.
That's a crazy matchup. I don't know if we've ever seen a matchup like that in NBA history where it's completely different types of basketball and 2 completely different sizes on the roster. Like, I don't know if that's ever been done.
It's going to be a lot of shitty basketball because there's going to be a lot of defense not being played on either
both
side. Because with the Lakers, it's like they play really good defensively if they match up well.
Yeah.
But this is just such a goofy...
They might not know how to adapt. Frank Vogel might not know how to adapt to that.
I mean, who guards Harden? You put LeBron on him?
You have to. Danny Green sucks. These playoffs. This whole bubble experience, I fucking hate Danny Green.
Hey, man, I love Danny Green's loyalty.
Yeah.
I can argue he's almost been better for us since he left. Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
The old Danny Green, Prime Danny Green, I would put on Harden, but not now. You got to put LeBron on him. You have to put Danny Green on Russ if he can step up and not run like a simp. But
Russ isn't moving as well anyway, so you probably could get away with that.
They could both run like fucking handicap participants.
You're so mad now, but if he
starts
has
cooking,
like 6 threes in one game, you're gonna be honking on Bobo.
100%. I'm not denying that. 100%.
Whatever, man. A bunch of our guys did it when we were on the finals run, and he had a couple bad games. They were like, "Oh, he's no good. We should have traded him. We shouldn't have."
He did have a couple.
We gave up Jakob Pearl for this guy.
Yeah,
you fucking idiots. And then what happened?
Yeah, he did have a couple bad playoff moments, but
fucking clowns. It's gonna happen. He's not a first option offense. He's not a shot creator or whatever. He's a spot up shooter and a defender. He's gonna. But he's
missing spot up shots, wide open.
So he's the fucking Henny God.
Wide open.
Barely seen him at all.
Yeah, for a reason. He started his own weed shop in the bubble. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Get your weed.
I mean, look, man. That'd be a goofy mess of a matchup, and I'm hoping I'm right and we don't have to worry about it because Oklahoma City's going to win the series.
I hope so, too.
Every bit of fucking momentum Houston had went down the shit pipes.
I hope so.
Chris Paul,
I would love that
Chris
for
Paul is snatching their fucking dreams away.
I want to see his conditioning get a little bit better, though, for the like one last run at a fucking ring.
Chris Paul?
Yeah. I want his conditioning a little better. Everything else is fucking money, but I don't want him sitting out the last 5 minutes at all for a second.
The odd thing is him sitting out that time, he didn't look tired to me. He looked all right.
I fucking hope not. I hope it was for some weird mental reset or something. I don't know what it was for, but I hope it wasn't for fatigue.
I think it was just coach playing it safe, man.
But they do it too much. With him. With only him, for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's only him I see this done with. In the crucial of a fucking winner-go-home game. I've seen it for like 3 years in a row with him. And I don't know what it is. And he's cooking every game. He's cooking.
Okay, well, regardless, let's say Houston moves on and then the Nuggets win. So then Houston would face the Lakers. What's your prediction for that series?
Houston Lakers?
What do you think? How do you think that plays out?
Lakers in 6 if Danny Green shows up. If he doesn't show up, it's going 7, and I don't even know who wins.
Oh my god. I do not want to see the Rockets in the conference finals. I'd fucking throw up. I won't even watch. I hope they both fucking lose.
It's going to be the Clippers in the conference finals. Either way.
Maybe I will watch just to see them get gut stomped.
If it's Lakers-Clippers, I'm giving it to Clippers as much as I want LA. Unless LA fucking just turn it on like they did before the bubble, before COVID.
Turn what on? They don't even know what their best lineup is.
They don't. Whatever they did in the season was great. Whatever they're doing now is not working.
They still think Kyle Kuzma's a number 3 option on a championship caliber team.
Know.
How fucking stupid do you have to be?
It should be Danny. It should. But Danny sucks. Who else? Dwight? KCP?
Danny's a role player.
They don't have a great third option. Let's be honest. They put all their money into the 2 studs. But Kuzma will get hot 1 game a series. He'll get 31 game a series.
30.
He sucks at defense. Danny Green just sucks dick. KCP will get 22 games a series. Dwight needs to play more, in my opinion, because he's actually playing pretty good basketball for once in a few years.
Yeah, he's been a little bit. He's had his moments in the bubble though. He's been a bit of good and bad.
Yeah,
been a little hit and miss. But I mean,
I'd rather him than JaVale.
I guess you can still trust him. JaVale McGee's.
Well, Dwight's not going to take bad shots anymore. I don't think he takes that many bad shots.
He's not going to take any shots unless it's an open dunk.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine by me.
Fine by me. Okay.
Set some screens and roll and whatever.
So we'll see what happens tonight with the Raptors Game 2 and Game 7 Denver, Utah. I believe you had a story to tell me.
Yeah, okay.
Before we end this.
Yeah. So, I was playing 2K with Michael Baxter last night, shout out, and I had my window open in the apartment, and it was a fucking gunfight.
No.
Like right there.
No way.
Okay, so So you know how when you come over to my house, it's the neighbors that are like next over that got the pit bulls.
Yeah.
And you can like hear them barking and shit. You can
All
tell
night.
they're like right there.
Yeah.
On the other side of the fence, right? It was like that close. Like it almost seems like it was in the bushes next over. So we're playing. I got the clip. I'll insert the clip in the video.
Woo!
Y'all can hear how it went, but.
Oh. That was a gun.
It was the weirdest thing. So we're just sitting there playing, talking, all of a sudden, bah! Oh. Okay. And then maybe 30, 40 seconds go by. A couple more. Bop, bop.
Jesus Christ. Okay, what the fuck is happening? Are you hearing it?
And then it was just like, it went on for like probably 15, 20 minutes. And it was just
bullets.
scattered shots like that. Yeah.
Was it like pistols, you think?
At least one was a pistol.
Jesus fuck.
I heard like 3 different guns.
Oh! That is like not far away.
At least one pistol and at least one rifle.
Last time
And
I
then
was
one
there,
other.
the cops were looking at everyone's backyard, actually. So that's crazy.
It was right around that area.
Yeah, that's
right
where I
around
know
that same
exactly.
spot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just kept playing. And then finally, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 minutes after it stopped, the cops finally, you could see the flashing lights and the cops finally rode up. It's just, I can't wait to move out of this shithole.
I've been saying that place is a
I've
shithole.
heard enough gunshots and whatever on my day, but
I've been saying that is a shithole.
I'm tired of this shit.
The lot lizards are not bringing home enough fucking money for the pimps.
Oh, they're out there having gunfights now.
And now
Jesus
they're just
Christ.
having gunfights instead. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck that place. Did you tell the queen?
Yeah, I told her. I wasn't going to.
You were
I told
skeptical,
her.
yeah.
She started. Yeah, I didn't want to freak her out and shit. Like, I'm fine. I didn't get hit, but
Fuck that place. It's a lawless shithole.
it's a lovely day
saying
in this
it.
neighborhood, man.
Been saying it. Gotta get the fuck closer.
Yeah, I don't know. One more year.
One more
One more
year.
year, and I'm the fuck out of here. Or 9 months, or whatever it is.
Thank God.
But yeah, that's all
Yeah,
I got, man.
that has been a beautiful start to a new podcast, a weekly podcast every Tuesday, Full Court Bresh. Tune in every week. We're going to put the audio up right away, and then the video will come as it comes.
Yeah.
Got anything else to say?
ASAP. It'll be ASAP. I won't fuck the dog too much. I promise you on that one. Nah, that's all I got, man. Just hopefully the Rockets lose. Hopefully the Raptors win.
Let's go, Denver.
Oh, one more thing before we fuck off stage left. I want more than anything. We've talked about this a few times. I want a Raptors Lakers finals. I want to fucking destroy you
I'm
guys.
putting my dad's house up against the Raptors if that's the matchup. I am not worried about the Raptors. I'm worried about every team but the Raptors right now. Getting there.
Man. You better pray we don't get that matchup. That's all I'm saying. I'm 100% confident.
If we get that matchup, we're doing a live pod every game of that series.
Bet that. All right. On that note, man, this has been the inaugural episode of the Bresh and One. As my
No,
partner in
it's
crime
not the
mentioned.
Bresh and One. Full Court
Oh,
Bresh.
fuck. Scrap that.
That was our second name. Don't fucking steal it.
Yeah.
We're trademarking
gonna
both.
steal it.
We're trademarking both.
Anything. I think it'll steal anything with Bresh in it.
I don't know. They better not.
Anyway, this has been an illustrious inaugural episode of the Full Court Bresh.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Eat a dick and have a good one.
Pow, pow, pow.